It's dramatic police video, a traffic stop shootout killing two Arkansas police officers. The suspects in the minivan, a father and his teenage son, both with strong anti-government views. They belong to a movement the FBI warns can create homegrown terrorists. So who are these people and what do they believe?
Well, not all of them are that extreme. ABC 15 investigator Joe Ducey found some live right here in the valley and could even be your neighbors.
They don't like taxes.
The way that the government has set things up is that we're really enslaved.
They don't like being told what to do.
We don't have our constitutional rights anymore.
But unlike the Tea Party protesters, people like Jonathan, who lives in the East Valley, are acting on their beliefs in what some might consider an unusual way.
I have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as does everyone. And so the way the system is set up, they're taking that away.
Filing paperwork to become what's called sovereign, trying to declare themselves U.S. nationals rather than U.S. citizens.
I empathize with their frustrations, just don't know that this is the best way to respond to it.
Arizona Secretary of State Ken Bennett says his office gets about 8 to 10 so-called sovereign citizen applications like these every week from people across the state.
It's not about revolution. It's not about hating my country or my government. It's about loving my country, and I hope that people would join in.
For Jonathan and others who follow this philosophy, being sovereign means following the U.S. Constitution word for word.
So if you get a traffic ticket, what do you feel you should do?
If I get a traffic ticket, I shouldn't get a traffic ticket.
I cannot imagine what their legal arguments are that have any coherence whatsoever.
ASU law professor Paul Bender says there's potential danger in citizens declaring themselves immune from the government.
It would mean there'd be total anarchy.
And that's why the sovereign citizen movement has caught the attention of the FBI. This notice, issued in April, says those involved believe they don't have to answer to any government authority, including courts, taxing entities, motor vehicle departments, or law enforcement. In some parts of the country, people have gone as far as declaring themselves diplomats, creating their own license plates, ambassador identification, and badges. The FBI connects its most extreme elements to domestic terrorism.
And there are people who get engaged in this warfare against the federal government, that sometimes gets personified by the IRS, that simply are not well adjusted.
Larry Mackey was lead prosecutor in the Oklahoma City bombing case. Terry Nichols claimed he was a sovereign citizen.
It's people being, unfortunately, selfish to the point of putting themselves and their own family at risk.
They want to be sovereign, but they choose to use government mechanisms to declare their sovereignty.
Bennett says his office won't record this paperwork, instead sending back a form letter that the documents are ineligible for filing. That rejection doesn't change the view of another self-proclaimed Valley sovereign citizen.
Ken Bennett can turn down or whatever he wants, but I already have my UCC filed in the state of Washington, so it was just a notice to him.
Okay, so do you have to pay taxes? Do you have to do all the other things?
I would not think so.
The sovereign citizen applicants we talked to say they do not believe in violence or separatism. Instead, they view themselves in the tradition of George Washington and Ben Franklin. I'm investigator Joe Ducey, ABC 15 News.
Many of you are sounding off on this story tonight. Tonight, one ABC15.com viewer writes, "You cannot have society without laws, and the citizens must be responsible for obeying those laws. Otherwise, you have anarchy." On our Facebook page, Brent B.J. Farley Jr. writes, "I believe the federal government has a responsibility to control itself, which it has failed to do. This failure has given birth to people who we're unhappy with, being overtaxed and underrepresented." Of course, we want to hear from you. Comment on our Twitter page, ABC15.com, or our Facebook page.